Good evening, race fans. We are live at the Monster Mile Dover International Speedway for the Lucas Oil 200. We're at the 12th race of the NAVSCAR Pro Series, second last race in the round. Looking forward to a good race. Tonight I'm joined in the booth with Jamie Christensen and Raymond Edge. How's it going, guys?
Hey, not too bad, Mike. Glad to be here. Dover's a small track, but has some speedway characteristics with it, especially with that drafting down the backstretch and the front stretch. So it's going to be a good night tonight.
For sure. Raymond, how's it going, buddy? First time in the booth. Raymond's off checking some crazy weather. He'll be back with us at some point during the race. But yeah, you spoke to it, man. It's a crazy fast 1 mile race. Super fast corners. Not a lot of fall off, and man, you got to be careful running around at those high speeds.
Yeah, absolutely. There's two areas on the track. I want to call them out right now. Going into turn 1 and coming out of turn 4. To me, those are probably where we're going to see the incidents tonight, because when the guys come out of turn 4, you can even see it on the wall. There's a black mark where if you get the angle wrong in the corner, you're going to come out and you're going to hit right in that spot on the wall. Coming into excuse me.
Yeah, you said it about coming off of turn 4, man. I think, and if you don't play your cards exactly right, you get loose off of that corner and you just run it into that retaining wall on the inside of the track, and your night's over. So, guys got to be careful running in and out of these corners.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen a lot of the cars carrying a lot of speed going into 1 after they've got a couple laps in them, and we've seen the back end of the car come around going into 1, probably a little bit more so than we've seen in 3 and 4. But it makes it interesting, and it makes it a handful for these drivers. But that's why this is the Pro Series. So hopefully we won't see a lot of that tonight, and they can get around here and get some green flag laps in.
Yeah, they call it the Monster Mile because it's the biggest 1 mile track we run here on the circuit, and these guys have been, I wouldn't say looking forward to this race. I think it's kind of one of those that these guys are looking forward to get in the books and getting this round done with. I think these guys have done a pretty good job here so far in the first round of the full season, and we're looking in to get season 2 or round 2 started.
Yeah, absolutely. Another factor that's going to play into this is how fast they can get single file, because this isn't a track that necessarily promotes 2 wide, for sure 3 wide racing. So it's we're going to want them to get single file pretty quick.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really going to be about patience, getting in that restart, getting single file, working on your own lines, and if we get to green flag stops, man, I think it's going to be key as well. I think these guys got to get that car slowed down. Pit speed here is a crawl at 35 miles an hour, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see some black flags for speeding, even under caution. It's just slow 35 miles an hour, and then pace speed's only 45 miles an hour, so it's just Caution laps here tend to crawl.
Yeah, they definitely do, and I think it's something that we've heard the drivers kind of talk about, in that it's such a transition, especially coming back from Kansas, where you've got a faster time in all the different aspects of the track. So something also to really keep an eye on, and it's not very easy to get on pit road here. It's probably one of the more difficult tracks that, with the pit entrance being where it's at, and the transition from speed to, to get into that pit road. So definitely a location to keep an eye on tonight.
I didn't see a lot of guys practicing that entry as well. I don't think these guys think we're going to see those green flag stops, and I'm kind of 50-50 on whether we'll see it as well. So, but you're right. I think it's going to play into it. We can see right now there's only 2 or 3 cars on the track. A lot of guys haven't turned laps. With that rule change last week, where guys do not have to put down a lap if they don't want to, half the field is not put down a lap yet. So.
Well, I think that's more of technical difficulties than not putting down a lap.
Oh, did everybody get booted?
Yep.
Well, let's see what happens in the next 4 minutes. So let's explain to our viewers. We've been having some storms in the northeastern U.S. right now, and a bunch of guys having connection issues directly to iRacing, not to anything else, not to TeamSpeak, not to our radio communications, but they're getting kicked out of iRacing. So right now, half the field is not connected to the sim. And we had a contingency. We said that we're going to try and get this race in. We're going to run it like any other, rain threatened race. And if these guys get bumped off before the halfway point, we will call the race and rerun it again next week. If they don't get back before the start of the race, and we've only got about 4 minutes, maybe we'll start the race under caution. But no, that wouldn't work either. We might have to call this race before it even starts.
Yeah, I'm only showing 15 drivers right now.
Yeah, let me bring up. I'll show the viewers at home here. Right now, taking a look, we got anybody in gray here is not connected to the sim, and that's going to be a huge problem for us. We want to make sure that the race is fair, and if one guy has computer issues or technical issues, that's on them. But when half the field it's a shared issue. We want to get that sorted out. We want to make sure that everybody has the chance to be competitive and race for points here.
Yeah, and I think it's also one of those things too where we've seen half the field drop and then additional ones. It takes a little bit longer. It seems like we're having connection issues all over the country tonight. So.
Yep, Jamie, you were having internet issues just before this broadcast as well. So.
Yep, the old reset on the router did the trick.
Yeah. Tried and true. Well, we got about 2 minutes of qualifying left. We'll see if anybody is able to get back in. But, if these guys can't get back in, we will end this broadcast short, but we'll have it back here next week. We'll go live again next week when the stores hopefully pass by. And luckily, we did have an off week next week, and we actually have an off week not the next week, but the week after. So there's no risk to the schedule. We will definitely get this race in. Just might not be tonight. Looks like guys are getting back in. Maybe not.
Yeah, they're slowly trickling back in.
I should get one of these guys to run a trace from their local computers to their iRacing servers. See if we can find the common IP range where everyone is stopping and look it up.
Now you're getting too technical, Mike.
I know, but it's kind of cool. I'm interested. I want to blame it on someone. If we blame it on AT&T, then I'm cool.
Yeah, it's usually AT&T's routers.
It is usually AT&T. Yep.
But I do have live stats rolling.
Nice. Yeah, let's debut the live stats. So if you're watching the broadcast on YouTube, you're watching it in the wrong place. You should go to www.navscarracingnetwork.com, and you can get that same feed, but we've got live stats where you can see a bunch of information from the race, from your favorite driver. You can track on board, and we're gonna be debuting more as we go out through the next couple weeks. We're kind of reworking that site. Once again, www.navscarracingnetwork.com, and that'll be the best place to watch it. We're working on getting the chat embedded there so you guys can be there and watch and see the stats and have the chat. So we're always trying to make the broadcast a little bit better every week, and Raymond's been doing a great job, we think, for that again.
It's been fun.
We try not to tell him, but
right? Yeah, we don't want it to go to his head for sure. Horrible job, Raymond. Horrible job.
My head's big enough.
So right now we've got everybody back in. Trent Potter, Keith Haney, Daniel Haney, James Haney are still out. But I think that might be good enough for us to get going here. But I don't think we're going to get to this end of this race. I think we're going to see it again.
Yeah, just by the current situation of the storms coming across the Midwest right now and heading up towards the Northeast, it's quite a bit of hindrance when it comes to network problems.
Well, we'll give it, our best shot. These guys are just finishing up qualifying. Hopefully the Haneys can get back in. I know Brent Rogers is not in either. I don't think I can delay the start. We can try, though. Are the Haneys in the TeamSpeak? Is Brent in the TeamSpeak?
I do not see Brent.
Or the
I
Haneys?
just sent
Nope, or the Haneys.
Brent a message, see if he responds.
Well, I'll run through the grid, even though it's pretty much who got times and who didn't. So the first row, Thomas Keane, John Fershing Jr. Second row, Jason Wells and Sean Butler with his 3 wins. Just a correction from last week. He has 3 wins so far this season. James Skelton and David Howard Jr. Mike Abbott and Jay Adair, row 4. William Long, Nelson Rivera, Jeff Sharpdale Albright, Brian Wynn and Butch Frazier, row 7. Ricky Goodman, Tommy Amasi, row 8. Trent Potter, DJ Anderson, row 9. These guys all have no times as they were not able to put down a lap. That might be a benefit to them. Who knows? We'll see how the race goes. But seeing people connected again, so maybe everyone will get back in here.
Not really sure. Looks like got the pace car going off there, and looks like we're underway.
Yep, cars are now making their way on track. Yeah, still 4 drivers. The Haneys and Brent Rogers are not logged back in. Well, we'll give it a shot here, and you know, if everybody does drop out, then we'll go ahead and if we get past the 50% mark, we will freeze the field where everybody drops out, and we will score it from that point. If we do not make the 50% mark, we will call this race not official, and we will try again next week.
You know, we kind of had a pretty good idea by one of the fellow admins, John Vershing. Maybe we start a new server altogether and restart qualifying, but it's one of those things.
Yeah.
Well, we're under green, so they're going into turn 1. A little bit late for that, and looks like we're underway. Thomas Keane just kind of really jumps to a nice lead there over John Pershing Jr. So they got single file real quick.
Yeah, I think we knew that was going to come. The 26 is pushing up into the wall. The 999 was able to pull by him pretty easily there. You're right, though. These guys got to be real patient, get in line, and then work on their own race here. Lots of racing going on through the 15th, 16th, 17th position.
And I think we're seeing a lot of guys be a little bit more aggressive here on the start. You know, the 2nd through 5th or 2nd through 6th place right now is really tight. These guys are really getting on it, and we got a caution out.
Caution's coming.
Anybody see what happened? I think Timothy Lewis. See if we take a look. Timothy Lewis, 26 and the 24 on either side of him. Looks like Tim just gets in a little hot and has contact with the 26. Sends the 26 around, and Tim just slides it out to that pit road line there. Watch again.
Yeah, it looked like he just got in a little hot.
Oh, and then there's some net code as well and some different stuff. But 26 went for a ride. Let's watch this one on board of Kevin O'Brien.
Looks like we got to spin out under caution.
You know, if we did, Raymond, I mean, it's one of those things that it's not always uncommon to see, especially at a track like this. I mean, this track is just unique, and you would think with just concrete, you'd have a lot of traction out there, but you know, these cars have so much rear torque in them that just a little bit of playing with the throttle will send that car around.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, they've done ran the good off those tires. They've done 5 laps. It's the good on the tires is gone.
Yeah, especially if you're running in these corners really, really, really hard, you're gonna burn up that right front real quick. Now I guess looks like nobody came in. Did people come in? Did they have an opportunity? Were the pits closed?
I can see the 24 coming down. 24 looks like 999 possibly too. And going back to the live stats, about
Uh-oh.
4, maybe 5 drivers actually pitted.
Yeah, I can see from my stats 5 drivers. Looks like the 20, or sorry, the 933, the 999, the 24, the 26, and the 14. Now the 26 and the 14 and the 94 were all involved in that wreck. Looks like a bunch of people are coming down now. Maybe the pits were closed that first time by.
It's like the 917 come down as well.
Might be a smart thing to come in, right off the bat, especially if you didn't have track position. Get yourself 4 new tires.
You know, because the pace speed is so slow, you know, it kind of lets the drivers kind of contemplate what they want to do, work on the race strategy here a little bit.
Yeah, it is definitely a long pace lap at 45 miles an hour. I think guys are going to be thinking about that restart, figuring out how they can make some moves early and maybe take care of their stuff early on. But, you want to capitalize. Everyone's bunched up right now. If you can make a pass, you want to do it, but you don't want to be the guy that brings out the next caution. So it's kind of a risk versus reward type of thing.
I believe the pace lights are off on the pace car, right?
Yeah, I see that as well. So we will be going back to green this time by. And they take the green. James is going to make that high line work. He's going to try and get by Thomas Keane. Thomas is fighting really hard on the inside. He's actually going to make that low line work and drift up high. 86 might consider a crossover. Doesn't look like it. First 5 cars are once again in line. Looks like everyone on back is pretty much in line as well.
Yeah, James got a heck of a jump right there. I thought he was going to make the move to come down. I don't think he was clear though.
What do you think? You think that those restarts? You think bottom line is preference here?
Yeah, because you've already got track position going into the turn, and to get it to come down, you're going to have to get out of the throttle quite a bit.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. Oh, 951 of DJ Anderson gets loose, but keeps it pointed forward. Does lose quite a bit of position here, but keeps it all together and no caution. First 5 cars have spread out. There's about a second and a half to from first to fifth, 2 seconds to sixth. These cars are now getting in the rhythm and want to turn off some laps here. Oh, caution's out. Kevin J. O'Brien. Let's see if we can take a look. Looks like Kevin was slow leading up to the incident here. I'm not sure if he was just picked up on something. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, the 26. 26 into the wall. Kevin helps him around, and then and that's all she wrote. I think that might be the quick repairs of the 94.
Well, honestly, Mike, I think we're going to see some drivers find caution and problems more than others.
Yeah, if they didn't come down that first time, actually the top half of the field did not come down that first time, so they're going to come down and get them this time, I think. Speaking about those internet problems, and we're kind of treating it like rain in the area, these cautions aren't going to be good for the guys that are hoping that they get to that 50% line before something catastrophic happens for our drivers. What do you think? Is it a race to halfway here?
I think it could be.
Pit road is full here. Lots of drivers on that pit road. Gotta be very courteous. There's an outside barrier there when you're pulling up on the track. Gotta make sure you don't come into somebody and put it in that outside pit wall. So, guys, man, you ran those truck races on Monday. Second race, we were at Kansas on Monday. What did you guys think of that race?
I think I would have won it if Kelvin wasn't there.
Yeah, you had the fastest lap. I was looking at the stats. You had the fastest lap of the race, and it looked like you were gaining some time there at the end of the race.
Yeah, finished behind Kelvin there, second place. It was a real close one there at the end. I think if I would have had a little bit more time, I might have been able to run him down and maybe try and maneuver. But Calvin's awfully good, and it's hard to get by him. And kind of reminds you of kind of what we see with the Xfinity Series when we see the Pro Series drivers stop in there. They're hard to deal with and hard to contend with. They know their way around the track, and you can say the same thing about Calvin. So just real happy to get a second place finish, and JCR. We had 3 of our cars, 2 in the top 10, and I think 1 just outside the top 10, and then another one in the teens. So overall, good night. First night racing as a team, so we were pretty excited about it.
Yeah, we did have another team announcement in the off week here. It looks like we have a new team forming. I believe it is Dumpers. Was it Dumpers Truck something or other? They're definitely team forming. That's all I'm saying.
Dumpers Speed Shop.
Yeah, that's
Trucks.
Yeah, so Brian Wynn is, I think he's gonna, he's putting that together. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Kevin Cochran's part of that team as well.
Yeah, I think he's the new driver, if I'm not mistaken.
That's exciting. I like to see those guys put some stuff together, and hopefully you've got some challenges down in those in that truck series.
Yeah, it's getting good. It's getting sporty. You know, a lot of these guys want to be able to make it to the Pro Series, want to race the A cars. You know, be in this league, go up against some of the household names, if you will, Sean Butler, Calvin Allison. Um, the list just goes on. So, I mean, this is where they want to be at, and this is the primarily sponsored races. So, they want to get some of those prizes as well. So.
Yeah, I'm excited to see some of that talent kind of rise to the top, and we'll get some new drivers here in the next round, or possibly next season, and we'll see how that goes for everybody. Looks like we're going back to green here. The lights are off. Going to take this last couple corners, and then we'll be getting on the gas here. Thomas Keem, Jane Skelton still have not pit. They're the only two cars on the track. Did not take tires, so those guys got to really manage throttle control. It'd be easy to kind of light up those back tires here. And as I say that, the 86 gets squirrely, but does keep it together.
Well, that didn't take long for that caution to come out.
I have to
Another
say,
caution.
I don't miss riding around under caution.
Yeah, especially not at 45 miles an hour. Looks like Ricky Goodman did spin it out. Let's see what happened here. Did not catch that, but it looks like it might have been single car. Let's take another look from a different angle.
Yeah, it looks like he had to get on the brakes for Butch, the 555, and it just come around on him coming off the turn.
Yeah, about the worst place any type of change in throttle or hard on the brakes on exit like that. Yeah, it's very hard to recover from that, and yeah, just trying to keep it off another driver, which is something we like to see from guys, and unfortunately did not work out for him there. Well, let's just take a look at that truck schedule. So next race, we're going to be running Dover here on Monday, and then we're going to Charlotte, and then Monza. Monza's going to be crazy. Pocono, Texas, Iowa, Gateway, and Daytona rounding out Season 1. Just want to remind all of our viewers, if you're into iRacing and you want to try out the league experience and check it out, we've had some great racing over there in the trucks on Monday nights, and very low caution counts so far. So the fields are a little bit smaller than these fields. We run about a 30-35 car field here. Over there, it's been about 24, 25. I think we're going to cap it at 30, but we haven't really decided yet. But yeah, and the races aren't as long as these ones, and it really provides a fun learning atmosphere where you can get tips from guys that might have a little bit more skill. And everyone's looking to just help each other out and create some really good talent to possibly come up here next season. So check us out, www.navscarracingleague.com. Sorry, navscar.com. And yeah, more information will be available there.
And I have to say, making green flag pit stops has been quite the entertainment.
Yeah, how's that been going? People been able to do it?
Oh, yeah. We had a couple really good green flag stops Monday night. I unfortunately got caught up in an early 3 wide, I don't know what was going on there deal, but yeah, once we got through that one, man, it kind of smoothed out, and everybody got to do some green flag pit stops, and it was quite a bit of fun. A lot of two-tire stop strategy, and
yeah, I love it when tires come into play, man. It just adds another dynamic, and they actually run a 50% fuel run over there, so that might keep the tires from really coming into play where we run 75% here, but with some of those shorter tracks, you still burn them up pretty quick, and definitely keeping your stuff together and taking those two tires can help you or hurt you.
Yeah, I actually like the two tires myself.
Yeah, my only suggestion would be people is you got to try it. You got to get into a practice session. You got to burn up your tires and then take two and know what the car is going to do, because it's going to have a huge impact on the car and the truck. So you can tighten you up a lot, and if you know what's going to happen and you're not surprised by it, I think you can really use it to your advantage. But if you've never taken two tires before and you're in the middle of the race and you take two tires, you might be in for a little bit of surprise.
Yeah, I was doing a little practice at Charlotte the other day and was doing just that. Ran probably 15, 20 laps. Come in, took two tires. Yeah, I won't be doing that during a race.
Yeah. Yeah, Charlotte is a tough one, right? Yeah, that turn four, man. Coming off that turn four over that bump right up against the wall, that'll send you spinning pretty easily.
Yep, that's exactly where it was at.
Looking forward to getting to Charlotte. That'll be our next broadcast, assuming this one goes through without a hitch. And yeah, I love that track. It's probably in my top 5 of tracks on the circuit, and it's definitely a different experience to not only race to watch as well.
Yeah, definitely come out on Monday nights. Shoot an application to us. It's been a lot of fun. I'm sure we're going to have a lot more fun, and hopefully we'll keep it going a while and get some of the drivers moved up here to the Pro Series later.
Yeah, for sure. And the faster it fills up, the faster we'll look at, maybe even bringing a third series in, whether that be the B cars or something else. But so far, we've had a lot of interest, and we're always looking to expand. So looks like we'll be going green this time by. The lights are off once again. Pace car is dropping down, and let's see if these guys can get a couple laps under the belt here. 21 of 200 so far. Nice slow start. You can really hear the throttle coming in gently there.
Yeah, I was hearing across radios earlier. There's a lot of guys starting in third gear.
Yeah, smart move. It's really easy to light up those back tires, and if you don't have experience recovering from that, you can spin out in front of the field, and no one wants to do that. And so far, everyone looks like top 10, 15 in line here.
It looks like the 18 is trying to make that upper line work for him.
Yeah, the 11 is looking underneath right now. It's going to try and make that pass happen here, but the 11th isn't going to get quite as nice of a run off the bottom there. Really good battling. The 11 looks like it gets a little bit loose, gets off of it, but he's going to come up behind the 18 there. The 18's making that high line work early on. Riding on board with the 11 of Will Long. See if he's going to try and make that pass again here. Might think about going a different way. Definitely playing with that throttle control. You can see how gently he is into the throttle off the corner here. Just take a listen. Back into it mid-corner. Just get that little bit of speed. Then off of it, come on exit. And back into it when he knows he can clear the wall.
And I don't know if you guys know this, Calvin did a little tutelage a couple days ago, made a video of racing here at Dover, helping some of the guys out, trying to get their lines down, and did a good job. I think they all benefited quite a bit from it.
That's awesome. I love to see that kind of stuff, and maybe we should do a better job of promoting that on the website as well. Whenever a driver does that, we got to get that on the NAVSCAR Facebook and hit up the feed there so guys can really take a look at it. Thomas Keane and Sean Butler right now 1-2, pretty close on the track. We've seen these guys run before. They have fought each other quite a bit in the past. Let's go ahead
I
and
was waiting
Ooh,
to see
real
it.
long.
Yeah, I was waiting to see it. They're already starting to do it. Tires are starting to get rough, and they're starting to diamond the corners.
You can actually just hear, we're riding on board right now with Sean Butler. You can hear that the tires kind of lit up there on exit. Listen to these RPMs here. You can hear the car get loose and go sideways, and he catches it. Just the car is super light on exit there. It's a tough track to really carry your speed all the way through the corner.
And you're sitting there watching the graphic. You can see how little Sean moves the wheel here.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. Once you kind of set the car into the corner, so, you know, we've got a couple laps here under green. What's a fuel run? Does anybody know what a fuel run is?
I don't think they'll make it.
No, I don't think so either. I think the tires will come off to a point where guys will not be able to make a fuel run. We will see cars spinning, but just curious on what the number might have been.
I personally couldn't tell you because I ran out of tires faster than I ran out of fuel during practice.
Yeah, right? So looking at the YouTube chat there, looks like that Mr. Allison is going to hold on to those videos. That's for his alliance only. So we're going to let drivers know that, man, if you want some pro tips, you got to make some friends here and share that stuff between you. I like seeing that as well. I'm sure he'll take a cash check. Sorry,
Yeah,
a
he'll
cash.
take the cash.
Yeah, he'll take the cash. Just a little bit of a bribe there. James Skelton right now working pretty hard over the 82. Closest battle on the track right now with these two drivers. He's looking inside, but just keeping that car inside is really a challenge there. You can see that the car stepped out on him. He had to get back in line. That's going to allow John Furshing to kind of close the gap between these two drivers here.
Yeah, these guys are really running just two different lines. I mean, James is able to get underneath him here, but he's got to be real careful not to push that car up on the corner, and he pays the price as Mike's able to just leverage that that speed off the corner.
Yeah, right now we're riding on board with John Furshing Jr. We're watching this battle happen in front of us. John's going to want to use this opportunity to maybe jump inside one of these cars if they go side by side. Oh, he's coming around. That car looks real loose there. Look at him turn right. Good save there off corner. You're definitely crowning that exit, that corner, like you were talking about earlier there, Raymond.
Yeah, that's something you just gotta practice that. I am not very good at it at all. I like staying on the bottom, but you can't carry as much speed. So if you learn how to do it, man, you can be quite a bit faster, a couple tenths actually.
Yeah, it basically just stretches out that straightaway, right? Allows you to get into the gas a little bit sooner and kind of maximize that straightaway speed. But it makes the entrance of the following corner a little bit more of a challenge as well. That's why you see these guys come down, drift up, and then come back down again.
Yeah, definitely the goal here is to get the front tires as straight as possible before you even touch the throttle.
Yep.
I won't say who taught me that.
He'd probably charge you $5.
Yeah.
Looks like Thomas Keene is going to lose multiple positions here. He kind of, just went up high and let him go by. I mean, he definitely knew they were faster, but he's lost. He went from third to, seventh now? Yeah, losing 4 spots there.
So we're turning lap 42 of 200. We're almost halfway to halfway. Guys will definitely be thinking about that, I think. I know, knock on wood, we don't see these guys just disconnect, but guys know that it is a possibility here, so they're going to try and be as far forward as possible come that 50% mark.
So is this a four track, or is it a four tire track, or is it a two tire track? What do you guys think if these guys have to go in here?
Absolutely 4.
Yeah, 4 every time.
You don't think there's anybody going to gamble on it a little bit and see if they can't get it out there?
Oh, I'm sure somebody will. Whether it pays off for them or not, that remains to be seen. But I think there's always somebody out there that's willing to take a risk. And hey, if you make it work, if you can calculate how many positions you might lose on a restart versus how many you'll gain by taking 2, it can pay off. So did you guys see the pictures that they posted over at Watkins Glen of the repave and the testing sessions that they had over there?
Yeah, it looked real good. It looked like it had a lot of traction, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, I think those cars are going to be super grippy, man. Those S's are going to be super quick, so it's definitely going to be an interesting race here in a couple weeks now, I think. Trent Potter in the 18 car right now, just behind the 15 of John Frisching Jr. Again, looks like this is the closest battle on the track at the moment as well. Ooh, John gets really loose up into the wall. I think those tires are starting to fall off, Raymond. You said it.
See now. I think the Bearded Wonder said it's about 30 laps. Your tires are about 70%. So.
Well, we're turning lap 50, so I believe that's we're getting close to 30% or 30 lap run here if we haven't passed it already.
So yeah, we ought to see these guys coming down for fuel and tires anytime now.
Now, do you if you think you can be quicker by coming down getting tires, even though you don't need fuel, do you take that shot? Do you come down and then pick up those times? Because right now, the drop off is about a second right now off the fastest laps versus what they're currently running.
Well, I would have to say if you've actually practiced it and you know how the car is going to handle on not a full load of fuel, then heck yeah, just save that extra second and a half on pit road. But if you haven't practiced it, you better be ready for it because it's going to make the car handle different.
Yeah, it is amazing how you take the weight off the back end and it definitely causes these cars to handle a lot different. Looks like we're got a couple cars lined up here. The 00 is being put a lap down. I guess he's probably already a lap down. But these cars are going to pass him on the low side. Mike Abbott in the 82 and James Skelton in the 86 are for position, as well as John Frisching and Trent Potter. So these 4 cars lined up right now are all for position, all running really hard here, trying to take advantage of those lap cars, maybe throw up a pick if they can. But some really good racing going on the track here. Yeah, that hood of that double O car is not looking too good.
Yeah, I don't think Dumper actually used his. He probably just beat in the fenders and threw some tires on it and went.
Yeah, you definitely want to save it if you can. Smart move.
Sure, but I know a bunch of guys would be ready for that thing to go away too come next season.
Yep, I think some guys. I think it's about split. Half the field's excited about it, half the field's worried about it, and I could argue both points. I think it's definitely going to promote guys being safe, but it's going to, it's going to take out some innocent guys as well. So people got to know, how to play it.
Yeah, most of the time you just get caught up in somebody else's mistake, and it's racing. It happens in real life, and it's going to happen here. So you just got to take it on the chin and go.
Yeah, for sure. I think all in all, though, the effect will be positive. I think it's going to get these guys thinking about the long run for sure.
Well, that is definitely why we're doing it. So we're going to see how it's going to play out.
These cars are starting to look like a handful here. You can definitely feel, the throttle coming back a little bit later. Braking points have been backed up a little bit earlier. And these guys are, tiptoeing around the track, so to speak. Sean Butler up to a 5-second lead over second place Thomas Keane right now. So he's liking this the way his car feels, and he's just moving forward.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's done hit the cruise control button by now and just really trying to save his tires as much as he can.
Yeah, he's got his feet up and just cruising around for sure. Still got to be careful though. You got lap cars. You're dealing with lap cars every couple seconds. Hopefully we know all these guys are really courteous, but it's about the communication. You got to, as a leader, you kind of want to communicate where you want the lap car, and if the lap car can even say, hey, I'm going to let you by, go low, and that kind of communication is key for a track like this.
Yeah, I'm hearing on the radios guys saying, hey, take the low, take the high side. So yeah, they're definitely leaving room for the other guys.
Can definitely see the rubber coming in the corners. That lower line's definitely way darker than that upper line, and I'm loving that dynamic tire wear for sure. Or the dynamic track.
Absolutely one of the best things they've done so far. We could really tell a difference. Last week at Kansas when we ran it, and Monday night when we ran Kansas, you could tell when that top line got hot, got the rubber built in. I just didn't have any grip up there at all with the way my setup was. I just cut it down to the middle, and that dynamic track has added a lot of fun.
Ooh, Thomas Keane into the wall. 929's really having a rough time. Has fallen back now to 5th.
Yeah, Mike did a good job getting around him right there. Him and John both.
Yeah, they did. And that just shows how a dominant car can really fall off. Just super unhappy with those tires. And if you run, really aggressive that first 10, 15 laps, you might pay the price come the end of the run. And I think looks like that's what's happening. But we might see cars kind of follow him back as well. It's going to be difficult for all these top drivers before they come in.
Yeah, it looked like Nelson had to check up there a little bit just so he didn't get into the back coming with as much as he's having to lift in the corners now.
Nelson's running an autism awareness. Oh, now that I've got him on the camera, nice save there.
Good save there, Nelson.
But I believe he's running that this week only, and nice to see those support paints for sure.
I'm really surprised these guys haven't started to come down for tires yet.
They're just waiting for that caution, you know what I mean? Like, they feel like it's coming. They feel like it's around the corner, so you kind of want to push it. But I think it's going to happen where it's just not going to come, and these guys are going to have to come down. And I think the first person that does come down, it looks like Thomas Keane. He's attempting it.
Oh yeah, it's a sheet of ice down there.
He does make it onto pit road at that crawl speed. Now you're going to be put a lap, maybe even two down on this pit road because it's so slow. He's really got to get back out there and hope that it cycles around. As you can see, Sean Butler coming around right there. He's not even in his pit stall yet, and Sean just put him a lap down. Let's monitor.
Yeah, it's 100 miles an hour difference plus. On getting onto pit road at 35 miles an hour, you feel like you're not even moving. And these guys are flying past you at 150 miles an hour.
Now,
He's going to go maybe 2.5 laps down.
Yep. Keen does use up his quick repair, and I think Sean is going to come by here if he's not already by.
Yep, he just went by, and Thomas is coming off pit road now after taking 4 tires.
So now he's just got to get back on the track. He's going to use these new tires as best as he can, kind of get those extra seconds while everybody else is on old tires. But he's got to hope that it cycles through.
I'm hearing on the radio they're starting to call coming in.
Now I would be extremely surprised if we make it through the entire field without a caution or someone spinning.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you there. Somebody's gonna spin getting on the pit road. It's tough getting down to 35 miles an hour.
86 of James Skelton is on pit road.
Pit road is gonna be busy.
All right, they're just kind of coming down one at a time here. That's smart. If we see them all jump down, I think it could be havoc. Right now, Mike Abbott is currently leading the race. John Fershing Jr., Nelson Rivera, and Corey Wharton, top 4. I think these guys are going to be forced to come down here quite soon, though. You don't want to be allowing guys to come in and get those fresh tires and really be turning quicker laps than you, because when you do get your tires, you're going to just be seconds back here. But they're staying out.
Oh yeah, you're going to lose a ton of time on these guys with new tires. You can't stay out very long and expect to stay on the lead lap.
And you can see here, Mike's going to make contact. Just a little contact. Everyone keeps it forward. But, yeah, he's on fresher tires, and he just wants to get around the leader. I don't blame him. But Mike I think he got loose on exit of 4 there and just didn't get it set up going into 1. Still no pits for these guys. If you stay out and a caution does come out and you trap these guys multiple laps down.
Caution's out.
Caution.
Oh, that makes it a little bit different. We got 4 cars currently on the lead lap.
Yep, 4 cars on the lead lap. I see a lot of
Wave rounds coming.
wave rounds coming, absolutely.
Here's hoping iRacing can handle it. You guys delay the start. Once they double up, delay the start by a lap for me.
Sure can.
All right, so I think that's exactly what Mike and John and Nelson were kind of hoping for here. These guys are going to come down at their own pace, get 4 tires, get back out on the track, and they could be leading lap on fresh tires, where the guys that get the wave around won't be able to come in and pit. So they'll be on a little bit older stuff here. Did we see what brought out the caution? I didn't look at it because we were talking.
No, I wasn't able to see what caused that one.
All right, 3 cars on pit road. Now it's really important, especially those 3 cars, not to speed here. You don't want to lose the advantage that you got by staying out by taking a black flag. Or I guess it would be a hold penalty, so it wouldn't be horrible, but... So, we're watching that YouTube chat, so we see you guys out there. Lomo Stop Motion's looking for a shout out. I hope I pronounced that right. Lomo Stop Motion. I assume you put up some cool stop motion videos. Love to see some of those. But thanks for watching. We see about 10 viewers right now, and again, we appreciate everybody that comes out and watches us live, and those that watch after the fact. The drivers here definitely, they got a kick, getting the fan base behind them, and again, we enjoy bringing this to you every week. So give us a like on Facebook. Give us a like on YouTube. It does go a long way for us. Check us out, www.navscar.com. Find us in all the usual places, and hopefully we'll see you here week to week.
Okay, so everybody is aware we're going to throw a quick lineup caution just because there will be so many waiver rounds.
Yeah, and that's a policy we took on the short tracks. I know this is about the largest short track we go to, but it is still a mile. So we'd probably do it at any mile or less. But yeah, good to know that these guys are aware from it. Just prevents iRacing from messing it all up, let's say.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's something that they've got to work on during their dirt confirmed.
Yeah.
Get the caution stuff figured out. I'm sure they'll do it.
Yeah.
Eventually.
They've got a lot of stuff, that brought out. I know the iRacing team isn't the biggest team in the world, so they're working on a lot all the time, and we appreciate the effort that they put into it. But I think there's a lot of things they could definitely improve if they have the manpower. So we do our best to make sure they're aware of those things from week to week. So John Fershing right now came out with the lead here. We're going to see what he does with that open, that clean air. Nelson Rivera second, Nelson Rivera, Mike Abbott, Tommy Amassi, and Sean Butler round out the top 5. It looks like all the cars are getting the wave around now. Maybe. Lights are still on. Did you delay it? Because is that why this?
I went ahead and delayed it as soon as I got the waiver around.
Perfect. So that'll give these guys time to get caught up, and then we'll be good to go for a restart here on lap 79. John Fershing does elect that inside line, outside Nelson Rivera. Should be a good battle here. I think we're going to have to ride on board with Mike Abbott or maybe Thomas Keane and Sean Butler. They're going to have a bit of a show here, and I think we're going to see them try and get some positions early on. It looks like there might be some lap cars in between these drivers. I guess because they were all waiver rounds, right? They would be at the back.
Yep,
Yeah.
they'd all be at the back.
So that's perfect for John, right? He's going to use these top 4 guys are going to really use that to their advantage. They've got about half a field in between them and 5th place. Yeah, and I think it has them all inside. Yeah, all single file. So it's a pretty long single file line, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's the one thing about it. It does make a long, long line of cars.
Well, we always talk about the biggest movers and shakers and who's lost the most. Looks like Tommy Amazy in the 901 car, up 12 positions up to that 4th spot. So it's going to be a good run for him tonight if he can keep that position. So.
All right, we're going back green here. And they're off. Nelson Rivera just gets a huge jump on the outside line there.
Did he fire off a rocket?
I don't know, but yeah, maybe John lost some traction in that rear end and did not get the start that he was looking for. But they're gonna get spread out, and Nelson's just on a roll. He's going. He knows that the fastest cars right now are trapped behind him, and he's gonna try and get out there. And smart move.
Yeah, Corey Wharton, just taking a look at him in the 999, he's really stuck on the outside. He's had a car underneath him every time he gets in the corner, and he keeps it going backwards as a result.
Looks like someone tapped the wall there. But yeah, this racing in this back of the pack with all these leaders trying to get around these lap cars, it's everyone's got to kind of keep their cool. Get frustrating, you know. You want to get by. You know you're fast. You want to get back up there, but you don't want to damage your stuff by putting your car in a position that it shouldn't be in.
Yeah, I was sitting here following Sean. I like watching him come up through the field, and he was there was a gap between the 14 Tim Lewis and the 917 of David Howard. I think Sean about thought about it for a second. He backed off.
Yeah, Corey Wharton ends up running on that shoulder, and you just can't do that. Gets the car loose, and he's going to drop back. He is already a lap down, but now he is really at the end of this pack here. Oh, we got a car spinning.
Caution's out. Caution's out.
Oh, multiple cars picked up on this one.
Yeah, Brian Wynn involved, Will Long involved.
It looks like Brian Wynn and Corey Wharton got, one of them got slowed down, the other one didn't.
See if we can see what happens here. Willie Long was involved. Oh yeah, gets loose just by himself, and that's gonna bounce him back up into the field. And yeah, Brian was on the brakes, tried to get slowed down, and lost it himself. And yeah, that's all she wrote.
Yeah, Trent Potter took some damage on that, as well as Kevin O'Brien. Both, you know, so we got definitely multiple cars involved in that, both directly and indirectly. So
Good old cautions breed cautions.
Yep, that was a big one right there. That's just kind
We got a
of,
couple of guys coming down for tires again.
yeah. I wouldn't after that long run. I don't put it past a lot of these guys for coming down, but that inside wall can be really tricky, right? That inside wall can put you back up on the track, and it's tough to avoid those whenever you got a straightaway like that that's really contained.
Yeah, and you're carrying so much speed coming off the corner. You get back in to the throttle, and it comes around, and you're still in the throttle. You're pointed straight at the wall, and it's just physics then.
So
Yep.
how about this, guys? Mike Abbott is the first car to go into pit road, followed by Sean Butler, which leaves John Pershing Jr. and Nelson Rivera out there on older tires. What do you think?
Well,
I don't want to be John or Nelson.
those guys, you know, their tires weren't as bad as Sean or the rest of them because they stayed out so late, right? So they've only got 2 or 3 laps, but you're right. I think 2 or 3 laps on new tires is going to be a big deal no matter what. But some of these guys are going to be happy to see that caution because it's going to get them the wave around. Right now, I've got Ricky Goodman on as the last car on the lead lap, unless I'm mistaken.
Also noticing the 82 being the Mike Abbott being the first one in is still on pit road. Finally leaves, probably having a little work done. I think you said Mikey was having he got caught there, had a little damage on the car, didn't he?
He did. You might be watching one of your old replays. He's on the track right now, but he's still got some right side damage for sure.
Yeah, it looks like he roughed up the right fender a little bit. That might give him a little more grip.
It definitely gives that car a little bit more room to go up to the wall for sure. I think you might see him come in and bang it out. Every chance he can. Maybe not now, as we're probably going to be one to go here. Looks like we got a car with no front end. I believe
Yeah,
it.
he was definitely having it worked on pit road there, but
He had time to do it, that's for sure.
Yeah, the 999 of Corey Wharton looks like there is no front of the car left. The hood's still on there somehow, but there's no front bumper on the front of that car. That could be a handling nightmare here. See how it goes.
or it's a really good bumper.
Just poke holes in the guy's rear end, but you got that radiator exposed right there. You don't want to take any damage on that bad boy.
Yeah, it seems that I'm actually still having some connection issues myself with iRacing because the stats aren't wanting to update like they should be either.
Boo.
I know, right?
Well, so far the field is still all intact. A couple of the drivers are out due to incidents. Brent Rogers and the Haneys never came back. I don't know if they just gave up, which would be understandable. We're
Yeah, I
about
can't blame him there.
No, we're about 12 laps away from making this one official here. There weren't as many wave arounds, so I guess we don't really need to delay it here unless you want to.
I think we should be okay this time, it looks like.
Cool, cool. So the 15, they've kind of swapped here. Nelson Rivera is starting on the inside, 15 starting on the outside. You know, that last restart, the 7 car got such a good jump here. We'll see how he can do it on the inside. Sean Butler's right behind them, though, so this could be a interesting restart.
Looks like Corey Wharton brought that car behind the wall too. It looks like his night's done.
Seven gets a great start. 15 is going to lose a couple positions on the outside. Sean's looking to make a pass going into 3 here. 7's going to just get off the gas and let him by. 929 is going to think about going 2, and he will.
I think all that work that the 82 just did on pit, he just undone it.
Yeah, he hit that wall pretty hard, but it was kind of interesting. After he hit it, he had a heck of a run going into 3 and 4, and he's now looking under the 949 for that position.
Yeah, he'll definitely be coming on 4 new tires.
Yep, makes that pass. That right front is not looking good, but I don't think that'll be too bad for him here. Some good fighting going on here. 14th position. These guys are a lap down, but it looks like they're all for position here. 983 of Jack Walls, 14 of Timothy Lewis, 24 of Chris Sharp, and the 917 all for position here. Oh, I guess it's just the 983 and the 14 battling right here.
Yeah, it's so interesting to see these guys get in the corner. You can definitely tell they've got different points and where they're letting off the gas. When they're all bunched up like that, it's really close racing. It's you got to really be on the top of your game.
That 14 car drifting up in the corner, just being real careful with cars on the outside. 18's going to get a good run, but going to get off the gas there. 14's going to make that pass.
Yeah, Tim Lewis has been looking good tonight. I mean, I think if he could just get to the front, get some clean air, I think he'd be pretty competitive.
Yeah, right now he's going to just think about getting up to that first car a lap down so he can get that wave around, or sorry, that lucky dog. But he is the 4th car a lap down, so he's got some work to do. .933 of Jay Adair is looking on the 15th.
Caution's out.
We got a
Caution's
caution.
out. Oh, cars are still going into each other here. 4 gets tagged. The 555. Looks like 59 and Bruce Potter. Let's see what happens here. They get side by side. 59 comes down. Don't know. There's a car up on the slow side there.
It's like the
Or high side.
901.
Watching the 901 here.
It looks like he just gets
Yeah.
loose going into one.
It's exactly that. Gets loose, tries to get up high out of the way, and then it's all the rest are just avoiding him. But he did his best to get back up there and up to speed. But yeah, that's just unfortunate for everybody else involved. Alright, pit lane is full. Looks like all the leaders come down. See the race off here. Who's going to get that first place position? Looks like Sean Butler is going to win the race to the line there. 14.3 second stop. The 929 is going to get a 14.6. You can see there from our pit road times. Pretty close pit roads in the top 5. John Fershing, not the best stop, 15.7, but he is going to come out in 5th place. I have him in 7th. I don't know why that shows there, but
I do believe we're approaching halfway, aren't we?
we are lap 97 of 200, so we're 2 laps when we take this cross here. So we'll be official here by the time we go back green, I think. Looks like there will be a bunch of wave rounds again, so we might want to delay this one more once they take the double up. Currently showing 17 cars back on the lead lap, so just a couple cautions and bring them out. That's pretty good. Alright, everyone should get the wave around right here. And they do. So we'll go ahead and delay this restart by one more
Already
lap.
got it.
Awesome. Let's go ahead and take a look at our Dash for Cash series that's starting up here next race at Charlotte. We're going to be doing a 5-race series presented by Dumper Speed Shop. They're going to be giving away some extra prize money. A total of $100 going to a couple different drivers based on these 5 races. The top driver in points, second and third in points for these 5 races specifically. We'll also give away a $20 bonus points. $20 in bonus prize money for the safest driver over these 5 races. There will be no drop races, so guys will have to hit all 5 of them. And you'll have to complete 80% of the laps to qualify for that safest driver award. There's also a couple different prizes for the races in between. We're going to be doing a best paint job here for Charlotte. Honor our Heroes 300, and we're encouraging drivers to put down that that Army Strong paint scheme. Do something nice that we can show on the broadcast, and you could have a chance to win $10 in iRacing credits. Throwdown at Darlington. I think that's going to be a big one as well. Love seeing those throwback schemes.
Yep, I got some good ideas for those.
Yeah, maybe I'll fire up that my painting thing and see if I can do a cool throwback one as well.
I got one for you can do.
All right, you'll hit me up after the race, and I'll see if I can get that done.
I will do that.
We don't want to spoil it for anybody.
Absolutely not.
All right, lights are off. We'll be going back this time by. It is lap 100, so we are now an official race. So far, no issues. Nobody has dropped out like we saw earlier in the race, so that's good to see. Hopefully we can get this one in the bags. Looking for that nice 30-40 lap run here. Let's see these guys work on those tires. Sean's going to start on the inside here. I think he's excited to get that clean air again. He was strong when he was out front. Sean gets a great start, fighting pretty hard right now with Thomas. Thomas Keane is going to hold him down, but wasn't enough for him there. Going to see if he can have something for him off the corner. Gets a nice run. Not quite enough to dive in there.
Yeah, kind of a rough start there for Tommy and Mays. You know, up 12 positions, but found himself up into the wall. Didn't lose control of the car, just into the wall, and obviously slowed it down. So.
John Furshing right now is looking to get around the 933 of Jay Adair. Sorry. Everyone quickly in line here.
You know, we do see a lot of cars that are real fast right now, Mike and Raymond. And, you know, one of the things that I heard in the garage is a lot of guys talking about how, you know, these guys are real aggressive on the restart, really going to use up those tires that they just put on there. So it would be curious of who manages those tires and is able to be there at the end. If this thing can go out we can go out and have a good green flag run.
Yeah, I think if you're in the top 5, I think you should only be as aggressive as you need to be on those tires. So, you know, keep the leader in sight, but save your stuff, man, because you're going to have, if you can save your stuff for, you know, lap 15, lap 20 on a run, it's going to have so much more of an impact, and you'll be able to get so much more of an advantage over guys that just don't take care of their stuff. And I think you see that from most of the leaders. We've got a car, looks like loose. Looks like he saved it. Oh, Tommy Amassi's spinning out. He's going to get it down the track. Doesn't look like we have a caution. He is off the track.
Yep, caution's
out.
Caution's out.
Yeah, he got up in the marbles, it looks like.
Yeah, it's the same style of incident. It looks like he's maybe just overdriving the corner a little bit, and Calvin did point that out in the chat earlier on, but he gets up in those marbles, and that back end is just going to kind of spin out. That's almost an exact replica of what happened to bring out that last caution.
Yeah, see, you were talking about saving tires, and best way really to save tires at this place, and again, shout out to the bearded one, you gotta back them corners way up.
Yeah,
that's the only way you're going to save tires here.
You know, there's a saying that people don't really take to heart too often. The good guys do, but slow can be fast, man, for sure. You slow that entry up and kind of allows you to get down to the bottom and carry more speed through the corner and be better off anyways. So I know everyone has the mindset, I'm going to just dive it in, I'm just going to bury it in and get hard on the brakes, but man, that can, you know, in the real world, that's going to burn up your brakes. You're going to get a lot of temps in those front tires. It's going to cause a lot of problems. You getting off and kind of coasting into the corner could definitely have a huge advantage in the long run.
I think you're right, Mike. But I mean, some of the other, discussion that goes on with that though is a lot of guys are nervous to do that because the not all drivers are on that same
Yeah.
page, kind of like you pointed out, and they're a little bit nervous about getting run over, and so it's kind of like groupthink, if you will, so to speak, because monkey see, monkey do, because they're out there just reacting to the environment around them, and they just, they don't ignore that and try to get in their own rhythm and race the track. Instead, they're racing the guy in front of them and overdriving the car. And I think that's what we see here tonight. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to preach about it because I think we're all guilty of it, but it's easier said to back those corners up than it is, especially on a short track like this when you're bunched up.
No, I agree 100%.
You took what I was going to say, Mike.
He explains it so well, but I think
He does.
honestly, I think that it is kind of on the driver in the back. You know what I mean? Like you gotta be aware of what the car in front of you is doing, and it's your responsibility not to run into the guy in front of you or not roll over him. You got to be aware that guys are going to run different lives than you, and I think that kind of what sets the pros apart from the semi pros, so to speak.
Oh, absolutely. I would agree with that 100%. And a lot of guys, it's an interesting thing. I mean, I think you're dead on. I just, you'll hear the argument. I know you've heard it before. It's kind of like, well, they're slower, or why aren't they getting out of my way? And it's like, well, even if they are slower than you, you still have an obligation there to run a clean race and run around your competitors. You can't, just because you think you're faster, or you are faster technically, doesn't mean you can just jam that car right into them. So
Yeah, speed's not entitlement. You know what I mean? Like
right.
there's something to be said about being fast, and there's something to be said about getting around a guy. Like, rarely does the fastest car win the race. That's just not how racing goes. You got to make those passes, and if you allow yourself as a driver to get behind a slower car, and you know that guy's slower than you, and you get yourself frustrated, and you start making choices that probably aren't the best, you're going to put yourself in a situation to kind of wreck your stuff, and then it doesn't matter how fast you are. I think guys need to be consistent. You got to stay on the bumper of the car in front of you and just wait, because they're going to mess up. Everybody gives people opportunities to pass. If you're faster, that opportunity will come. You gotta know, and you gotta wait for it. And the closer we get to the last lap of the race, obviously you're going to wait a little bit less, or you're going to put a little bit more pressure on somebody. But you don't want to take yourself out.
Somebody we haven't talked about a lot tonight, guys, is that 983 Jack Walls, our Daytona winner. Bought his ticket into the race, just brand new into the league. He's the last car on the lead lap, and he's that car doesn't look like it's got a spot on it. So, and I don't believe he's been in any incidents tonight. I mean, he's definitely not running up front, but he's taking care of the equipment. Hopefully, he'll be there at the end.
All right, so Mike Abbott is starting up front. I Did anybody notice? Doesn't look like he pit. I guess I don't know how he got the front position.
Ancient Chinese secret, I think, right
Yeah,
there.
right there. He's
Well, he does know a few officials. I'm not
yeah.
trying to say that he, dropped a couple 20s or anything, but
That car's not looking in the best of shape. We'll see how this start goes. Everyone's got to be super respectful, but I'm sure it's gonna make for some interesting TV. Here we go.
I think we need to check his lug nuts after this race.
Right. He's only got 4 on there. That's a $20,000 fine, I think.
well, he definitely didn't have the best restart there.
No, Sean is stuck behind him right now, and this is where we talk about that patience. You know what I mean? You don't want to put yourself in a bad position to get taken out here. Mike is up to speed though. Sean's gonna. All these guys are gonna get into line here. Well, maybe not. Sean's going to use that low line. Mike's going to drift it up high, be real respectful. Looks like he's going to let him by.
Yeah, he didn't really have a choice there as we got caution out.
The 983 of Jack Walls is around. Doesn't look like there's a ton of damage. Let's see if we can take a look.
Jamie Jinx.
I'm like, okay, never mind.
Oh, we didn't pick drivers. We had some Dan Lisa problems earlier in the day, so it looks like he just got on the apron. That's you got to be real careful. Tough to do, and he just wasn't able to keep it safe and comes up on the track. Looks like everyone's going to get around him, so nobody's collecting in it. But yeah, you got to keep it off that apron at high speed.
Really hope he didn't have the broadcast going in the background. Maybe he heard something he didn't like.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, but he'll hear it later.
I'm a big fan.
Go ahead, Jamie.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm just a big fan of that paint scheme he's running. Dale Jr. fan. Always loved that Budweiser car. So good to see it out there on the track. So hopefully he does it right.
Yeah, that is back in the heyday, man. Just a single number on the side of that car makes it right.
Absolutely. And you're talking about getting down on that apron. Yeah, you touch the apron with that left front, and that rear end just comes around on you quicker than you can grab it.
Yeah, it just grabs that front end, and that's going to allow that rear end to just step out for sure.
Which, is kind of an interesting thing, too, because I've heard some drivers throwing in some pretty unique setups in there. We are a fixed series, but they have the steering offset and the steering ratio that they've been messing with. I've heard some drivers take some pretty big swings at it tonight.
I took some huge swings at it during practice.
Yeah, you can definitely, if you do it right, man, you can save the tires. You can get more comfortable. There's a lot to be gained about that wheel offset for sure. I never liked to do that. My mindset was I'm going to learn how to race with the setting I have, so I'm consistent from week to week, and that's probably why I was never quick.
That's exactly right, Mike.
Yeah. I just never know where I'm at or where I should be at, and it's like I got to take better notes on where I get comfortable track to track.
It really varies from track to track. Last week at Kansas, and I don't want to give away all of our secrets, but the offset that we were running was close to the default, but the steering ratio was way different.
Yeah, the ratio, I think that is something I play with a lot more. You just how much you got to turn the wheel to turn your tires. I think from track to track, you got to play around with that one. What would you run here? I would run a lower ratio here, right?
It was interesting. I was watching Michael Conti and another driver set up their car for this, and I noticed that they were running a 12-to-1 -2 offset on their cars. Now I don't know how all the drivers did it, but it is a smaller track, but I don't know that it warrants an 8 or a 10-to-1 ratio.
Yeah, you're probably right. Just because you're not, we talked about it earlier in the broadcast. You're not putting a ton of wheel into it because these corners are pretty banked and they're pretty high speed. So you're not putting a ton of wheel in it. So that higher offset would probably be better. Not as much as say a big speedway or a super speedway for sure, but.
It's definitely preference of how you drive. That's about the only difference you can really make, obviously, since we're running fixed. But the preference of how much you want to turn the wheel,
yeah,
you've really got to practice it. I am not an 8-to-1 guy for nothing. I burn the right front off. I can see smoke coming off of it.
Yeah, me too. You look in that rear view and it just puffs the smoke.
Oh, absolutely. Now, you get on the super speedways, Talladega, Daytona, yeah, maybe an 8-to-1, most likely a 10-to-1, just so you can keep it down on the bottom. But yeah, you hardly ever see some of the, and I would say most of these guys may stay default, but there's quite a few that are up front. Most of the time, they're nowhere close to default.
I would say on the super speed, I like a larger swing at it just because I don't want my movements to have such an impact. But mind you, I haven't run a super speedway with this new drafting package, so you might want to have that more control for sure. All right.
Yeah, you definitely want to be able to keep it down.
And we're going back to green here. Lap 116. Thomas Keane back out on front. This familiar pair right here. These are definitely the two quickest cars. I think Sean is just a little bit quicker, but these guys right now are the class of the field.
Yeah, it's just going to depend on how much Thomas saves his tires, because we know how Butler does his.
Yeah, Sean, Thomas did fall off pretty substantial on the long end of that run last time. So maybe he learned something, but he's using it. And I think you kind of bring up a good point. Sean's not really forcing the issue. He's kind of dropped back a little bit, and we know that if Sean wants to, he can drive it a lot harder.
And to be honest with you, he only needs to get to his bumper when it comes down to it.
Yep. I think he's definitely racing a smart race here. With 80 laps to go, we could see this one go green for a little bit.
But I think Nelson Rivera is kind of in that catbird seat right now. I mean, if this goes out a little bit longer, I mean, if Sean wants to push the issue and get a little bit closer up there, Nelson could be there to capitalize on both of them. Caution's out.
Ricky Goodman. Oh, not leaving much room on the outside of that track.
I keep telling them Wells won't go out, even as hard as we try.
Yeah, looks like probably by himself here. Yeah. Really late in the corner. Oh, it looks like there was a car. It might not have been his fault here.
Yeah, the 59 of Bruce Potter, I believe, was stopped on the track.
So Ricky was just avoiding and lost it himself under avoiding. 59, gets loose by himself as well and bounces it off that inside wall and keeps it going, but he's really slow on the inside of the track, and Ricky was avoiding it. Ricky, I think Ricky brings out the caution, but he was just avoiding that 59, or attempting to.
So he's got to be real mindful of the temps here on that car. So many times drivers just are kind of frustrated that they were in a wreck and they're not monitoring the gauges on the car and find that the car is actually overheating, and we can see smoke bellowing out of that car. It's something he's going to definitely have to watch, because the last thing he wants is to have the engine blow and then have to be towed or coast into pit road.
And anytime you notice that your car is you can see that he pulls down on the shoulder, which is this nice thing to do. You're just spewing oil and rubber and all that smoke. And you don't want guys to be running through that. It really can dirty up a windshield really quickly. So when your car is blowing up like that, you want to get it out of the racing line and not dirty up cars. And he does that pretty well here.
Yeah, he's probably wishing we were at maybe a little bit different track, or maybe the slower speeds are helping him out, keeping the engine cool. But that's at 35 miles an hour, I believe, is what is the pace speed. Is that right?
45.
45.
45. Yeah, it's still slow. I mean, that's a long ways to get around the track. So.
And hopefully he's got a quick repair. He's gonna bring it in. I assume he does have one, because if he didn't have one, I think he would just pull off the track and tow it. But let's see what happens here.
Yeah, and another thing, we haven't really seen the track temp cool a lot. We're still at 108 degrees. It's pretty slick, pretty hot track. I think a lot of drivers had difficulties with it at the beginning of the race, but maybe it'll cool down. We get a little rubber on the track, so hopefully we'll get back out there and be able to put some faster laps down.
Yeah, it is an afternoon race. I don't think well, maybe it'll cool down a little bit, maybe not. Does he get fixed? It is not being fixed, so it looks like
I do not see it being fixed.
He's gonna probably have some work there if they can even fix it. So he'll be. Looks like it has been shut off. So maybe his race is done. David Howard Jr. in the 917 is up front. Jack Walls second place. Thomas Keane, Sean Butler, and Nelson Rivera round out the top 5.
I was actually told I couldn't talk about the 917 anymore, so I'm just going to go back. I'm going to talk about Jack Walls. Jack finds himself after that incident up there in the front. I think he's maybe this is the opportunity he's been waiting for.
Car's looking good, man. So looks in good shape. Doesn't look like there's any damage on it.
I'm
But
pushing for him, and there's nothing better. I mean, we've talked about it all season long. It's one of those things. He's punched his ticket. He can take those risks that other drivers can't. I believe he's out there on a little bit older tires, isn't he?
yeah, I don't think the top two guys came in. I think third and fourth would be the first cars that actually came in to take tires. So, yeah, they might have a little bit of a challenge with these two fast cars behind them, but they have a lot to gain here if they can get it single file and get up to speed. About
To be honest with you,
yeah.
oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm gonna call it now. I think that higher line is gonna be where it's at. I think Sean Butler is gonna take advantage of it. I think he's gonna be the beneficiary of it. I think the 983 going into one is gonna be able to stay even with the 917 and then just go around him out of two. And the 929, even though Thomas has been leading up front, I think he's going to get held up by the 917 here, but we'll see.
We're going to take this restart on board with the 919 of Sean Butler as the pace car pulls in.
Or since I mentioned all the cars, they're all going to wreck.
Right. And he gets a good start up through the gears. Did start it in second gear. You can see he's being held up by that outside line. Wants to get around these guys. Oh, he's getting loose. He's going to drop down.
Yeah, I'm not really sure there. I mean, they had a really good start on the outside, and for some reason, the 983 had a little struggle on the outside and kind of held everybody up.
Yeah, older tires, man. That's might all it have been. (917) he's doing pretty well here, trying to battle for that second place.
You know, and this actually might work out well for him. I mean, if he can get a quick caution here, he might be able to come in, have
Oh,
some decent position and get him some new tires. But I think if it goes green, I think it's going to hurt him here.
some contact between the 917 and the 18 of Trent Potter. Nobody spins though, so they keep on moving. Thomas Keane is using that clean air to really pull away right now. Nelson Rivera second place, Sean Butler third, David Howard and Trent Potter round out the top five.
The battle for 6th and 7th is pretty tight.
Yes, it is. Jack Walls and Jay Adair running pretty hard right there. Chris Sharp and Timothy Lewis also right behind them, fighting pretty hard for that 8th position. And the 15 is in the wall.
Yeah, but I think John just got a little loose right there. I was watching him.
Let's see if we can take a look. Oh yeah, he gets loose, gets helped a little bit, but he got loose before the help. You know
Yeah,
what?
it looked like he had to check up for the 24 a little bit, and it just didn't grip coming off the corner.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. Checking up on the exit of 4 when the car is really light and really on edge there. It doesn't take much. Looks like I think he might have been okay not checking up and just staying down. It looked like he could have turned down a little bit, but he definitely gets into the brake, I think, and that just kind of forces the car to go around.
Jack Wall stays out.
Again.
Yeah, he looked like he was coming to pit road and ducked out at the very last second back out there to lead a lap.
Now we got 3 cars up here, 4 cars. A lot of people staying out.
Yeah, David Howard Jr. Comes in, like I said. I mean, he's going to be get 4 fresh ones on here, and he's going to be with the same setup as the leaders. So that worked out well for him. Ooh, 82 with a big gamble. Right sides only.
Looks like the 15 had to use his quick repair.
All right, so I believe we have Butch Frazier in 4th place. Thomas Keene is going to be the first car that comes out that took tires.
Does not look like there'll be a wave around this time.
Yeah, Butch's got some pretty bad damage. I think he's going to come in here, and he looks like he is coming in. Actually, top 3 cars. Jack Wall's going to roll the dice again. Jay Adair on the outside. So we've got two cars not pitting. Jack's going to have his hands full, I'll tell you that right now. With that way that restart went last time, he's going to...
Yeah, I'm trying to find the logic in why he would think that would be a good idea to stay out there after that last one didn't go so well, unless he had a, miss shift or something.
That's
because
possible, yeah.
I mean, he did have a good restart, and then it just kind of fizzled out there in 1 and 2, and then just got crazy.
He might just want to stay out of the back.
Yeah.
Front or the back?
That'd be my guess. It's not a bad gamble as long as you can, stay out of the way of the cars with 4 tires, I guess.
No, for sure. I think, again, it comes to maximizing the amounts that you're going to gain versus losing by coming in. So, there's never really a wrong answer as long as you can pull it off, as long as you can keep the car, pointing forward and not ruin anyone's night. I think any call's a good call. Actually, he's going to come in now. He's decided he's changed his mind. He can hear us talking.
I was going to say, are these guys talking on the broadcast here? But, as these guys are getting sorted out, but let's talk about who's on that bubble right now. We got 16 spots for the chase this season. Mike Abbott is currently sitting in that 16th position. Tommy Mays in 15th, Brian Wynn in 14th, and Jordan Beck 13th. So, and I think I'll throw one more in there, Chris Sharp. So Chris Sharp really needing to have a good night in that 24 car. So.
Yeah, I think
it looks like.
I was just going to say
Jordan Beck just showed up in the chat room.
Yeah, Jordan, he did not race this race. Looks like he was on a train racing home to watch the broadcast. Does make it home in time to watch the finish. But shout out to Jordan Beck, who did win here a couple weeks ago, correct?
Yeah, Talladega.
Talladega.
If you're not first, you're last.
Ricky Bobby.
I feel like that right now. I don't know what to do with my hands.
All right, pace cars in. We're going to start this one off. Looks like Jay Adair is going to take the field to the green. I think he is on old tires as well. He's led a couple laps, and I think they were both under caution. So let's see how these go here.
Thomas Keene just rockets out of there.
Yeah, I think possibly starting in 3rd gear. Actually, we didn't talk about that. Maybe some drivers are still starting in 3rd gear, and that's what the difference is. Some tough racing right now going on for the 5th place. 3 cars battling pretty hard. The 917, the 7, and the 919 of Sean Butler all racing here for position.
Oh, Sean got off the corner a little hard there. He just kissed the wall a little bit.
Right on board with Sean and that bumper cam here.
And I'm hearing the 983 calling out to say that he's going back into the pits.
Black flag, maybe?
Yeah, I think he would get one for coming down at the time that he did. I think pits would have been closed for him as Sean bounces it off the wall.
He's trying to push it out to give himself a little bit more room to come off that corner, I think.
Yeah, man, every time you hit it, it's another inch.
Yeah, dented into the car.
It's the same thing. It doesn't matter.
Well, I was going to say, Kyle Busch seems to have no problem doing it. I mean, he's pretty notorious for being able to slam the wall. Of course, speaking of Kyle Busch, I think
Oh, let's not.
we all seen that he got fined, or his crew chief got fined for the rest of the year for infraction there at the last race.
I missed it. What was he fined for?
Not enough lug nuts on the tires.
At the end of the race?
At the end of the race.
Did he win the race?
Yes, he did.
Did they take the win away?
Not yet.
Oh,
Of course not.
They just fined the crew chief and several $1,000s in their probation until the end of the year. So
Well-
Chump change.
Yeah, it's nothing. 20 grand for a win, no problem. I don't know how much the fine was, but I think they were talking 20 grand at the beginning.
I think it was a little bit higher. I think it was around 50, but
Yeah.
yeah, there was a lot of speculation after he tore the right side of that car up after the race.
Why did he burn it? Did he do it on purpose? Like, did he?
Well, he was doing his burnouts, but he did a burnout so bad that the right rear quarter panel was completely missing from the tire coming apart.
Interesting.
Saw they had a couple hip checks
Oh.
that they called some people on too.
Got a car.
That hasn't happened in a while.
I saw a car drive into the center wall, but oh, Timothy Lewis, yeah, off speed. That car is hurting bad. Sorry, what were you saying there, Raymond?
I said I heard they called a couple guys for some hip checks during pits and made them come in and fix it.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Unapproved adjustments.
Yeah, I saw some of the fenders flared on the driver's side there, and I was surprised that it wasn't flared a lot, but there was a bunch of cars flared, and I was surprised that they didn't do anything about it. I know they talked about that during the off season, flaring out those fenders. But yeah, look at the number of cars. Looked like they had a little bit of a flare going on.
Yeah, this was more of a denting in right behind the passenger side door. It's a
really?
big aero advantage.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it looks like Tim's just trying to hang on at this point.
And we do those same types of post-race inspections on these vehicles too. So
Oh yeah.
Every week. Now you see why I don't never finish up front. I don't want you looking at my car.
I'm pretty sure every car gets looked at. Or maybe it's random.
Looks like the 7 is going to look on the inside of the 82 there for position. That's fighting for the 5th position on track right now.
Yeah, I've noticed that Mike Abbott, he's been really fast on these restarts. I mean, as all the guys are on 4 fresh ones. But dude, like we talked about it too, he only took 2 right side tires this last time around, and he was doing good there for a little while, but he seems to be fading. It seems like some of these other cars are able to close up on him pretty quick.
Is he fading, or is he just put it in cruise control for a long green?
I don't know if he was. You're right. I mean, he's kind of maintaining right now, but anytime that a car comes up behind him and starts to challenge him, he wants to. I don't want to say overdrive the car, but he wants to drive the car at the same speed, kind of like what we were talking about earlier. And I don't think that car is capable of doing that for very long.
Yeah, he's got the 86 on his back deck lid at the moment.
Yeah, and those two have been kind of like magnets here over the last few races, so hopefully they'll figure it out.
Yeah, they're big boys. They'll figure it out.
Right now, Sean's trying to figure out how to get around the 917 of David Howard. He's just watching that leader pull away, and he wants to get that clean air so he can kind of keep him in sight.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like there's any team orders. They are running on the same team here. You figured they'd, have the spotter or somebody let them know, hey, let me by, man, I'm faster.
And
I'm sure they're talking.
As you said it, they 917 pulls up and lets the 9919 by. That's allowed Thomas to get a 4.5 second lead.
Yeah, I thought I saw the hand come out the window there. Not sure if it was 2 fingers or 1.
Yeah, I was gonna say hand or finger.
Yeah.
He was just waving.
Speaking of that, it always reminds me of Dale Earnhardt's last race when Kurt Busch got into him at Daytona. Dale had no problem telling him what he thought.
Absolutely not.
Nope. Yeah, if you pissed off the Intimidator, you knew about it. 86 is going to jump down, try and look on the inside of the 82, but not enough momentum there to make that happen.
So we were talking about fuel strategy a little bit earlier. It's one of those things. I think we were talking in the 30 range. We're at, I believe, lap 153 right now. So going on 154. So definitely another pit stop coming up. And hopefully it'll be under green.
The 86 is able to force his way underneath the 82. The 7 is going to capitalize and go on by as well.
Ooh. Just seen Mike Abbott there.
Yeah, he gets way onto the shoulder. Actually, it looks like... Again, he's onto the shoulder. I don't know if he's got issues with the car, but he's off the pace.
No, I think he did what Raymond had said. I think he was just too low on the track entering with other cars around him, and I think he just got loose there.
Back up to speed now. Dropped back to 7th position.
But I think this time around, I think he's got to go with 4 just to be able to compete with these guys. Don't get me wrong, two tires is a gamble, might get you up there. You might have some success with it, but I think when it comes down to these long runs like this, you got to have 4 underneath you, and even that only buys you a little bit.
Yeah, I think if you can time it, man, having 4, well, I guess it goes either way. I'd rather finish the race on 4. It gives you a little bit more, maneuverability. You can kind of put your car where you want it. You're a little bit more racy, and I think that's key as we come down to the end here.
Yeah, I think Calvin was trying to tell Mike that in the chat, but it didn't get to him. He should have taken forward fuel and been done.
Well, speaking of that, though, I still think we have an opportunity for a driver, maybe a driver that's already won a race, or to gamble here a little bit. Yeah, sure, they're going to come in with 30, but maybe there's an opportunity to come in and get on a different pit cycle.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Except you don't want to happen what happened last time, where you come down, you get trapped 2 laps down, and a caution comes out and just completely ends your race.
Yeah, the 82 was having a lot of trouble out there. He just lost it again. Was able to keep it maintained, but he's fallen back even more. So I don't think these 2 tires were a good deal for him this time around. He's got to hope for...
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, he's got to hope for a caution and just hope that he's not it.
Right. John Furshing is up to 6th place in that 15 car. After getting that quick repair, the car still looks in pretty good position. He's on the move forward. Right now, Thomas Keane is still pulling away. Actually, Sean Butler dropped back. David Howard Jr. was able to get by Sean Butler for that 2nd place.
Yeah, and I think John Furshing Jr. actually has probably, I'm going to go on a limb here and say probably the most to lose. He is the highest driver in the point standings without a win. currently sitting fourth in points right now. So he's got David Howard Jr. and Nelson Rivera both right behind him. Only a few points back. So John's really got to keep that car clean and be there at the end and get a good finish here.
Riding on board with the 7 of Nelson Rivera. Listening to that smooth throttle control as it comes off the corner.
I always think it's interesting to watch the leader too. Thomas Keene's really got this gap here on the second place car, David Howard Jr., about 5 seconds there. So it's one of those things that we've seen. You look at Martin Truex Jr. At Kansas, led the most laps, had a dominant and fast car, but he was obviously not the one that won the race. So one of those things that a small track like this, anything can group that field back up again. Next thing you know, Thomas Keene is back in traffic. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
We've done the last couple laps on board with the leader right here, and you can really see the difference in line here, and just listening to the tire as he enters one here. Oh, he's coming into pit, or I believe he's coming.
He's trying
to. He called. He's pitting.
I don't know if he got it slowed down in time.
I was just thinking that same thing.
I have him doing 36 miles an hour right now. I think he has. I believe it does give you a grace, maybe not.
It's iffy.
Yeah, he is on the bubble here right now. I know the official pit speed is 35, or is it 40? No, it's 35.
It's 35.
Yeah, so it might give him 39. I'm not positive, but we'll see how it goes when he pulls out. Let's see this pit stop. Right sides.
I don't think you take 2 here. You've got to take 4.
Yep, there goes the left sides. He's back on the throttle, and he's off, so no pit speeding penalty. Good job there. Now it's going to be interesting. He's back to 15th position. He's a lap down. It's going to really come down, and it's got to cycle around, but he's got new tires. He's going to be able to be quick. But can somebody go to the end? Like, we got 33 laps. Do you think any of these guys can go to the end on gas?
If they can, it's barely. Do they want to? Probably not.
Yeah, probably not, right? It's going to be hard to drive, but if if everybody comes in and you got a bit of a gap, you might be able to make it work. We'll see how it goes.
You better get a 2 or 3 lap gap. That'd be about the only way.
Right.
And he better hope there's not a caution, because he's actually the 4th car a lap down right now.
Yeah, he would be able to stay out. Like, if a caution came out, get that wave around for sure, but assuming a leader didn't. Actually, you know what? One of the lead cars might stay out, so that might chop off that wave around. We'll see.
And I believe he just made contact with the 983. And
he came close.
Yeah, that was real close there.
That's a difference in new and old tires right there.
And you really hear him struggling around these other cars because they're just so much slower in the corner. I mean, he's just taking evasive maneuvers, just trying to get around some of these cars because he's so much faster.
Yeah, his previous lap was a 24.1. Leaders are running a 25.3. Cars around him are running a 25.4, up to a 26. So, yeah, he's definitely the fast car on the track, and he's really just gaining as much time as he can. And if he can use this to an advantage and really gain a second or more per lap, we run 10 or 15 laps, and he could gain 10, 15 seconds before these guys come in. But then they're going to be faster for the last half of the race as well. So we could have a race as we get down to it. Nobody else looks like they're thinking about coming in. David Howard Jr. right now is still in first place. Sean Butler second. James Skelton third. Nelson Rivera fourth. And John Furshing rounding out the top 5. They're all together in line on the track right now.
Well, they're just hoping for a caution now.
And Sean's got a little bit of front end damage on that car.
That's probably from bouncing off the wall a couple times, I would bet. I'm surprised to see that 82 car still out there making laps on those old tires.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, as Thomas Keene's going to pull up right behind him, has to slow down a lot.
Now Thomas Keene is just looking for Butch Frazier to be, the first car on the 1 lap down. Does have about of a 8-second gap right now, I believe.
Yeah, Butch is on the back stretch now as Thomas is just coming out of 2, so...
John Furshing is going to go underneath the 86 pretty easily there. Wow, the 7 car really did close up on Sean Butler that last lap. Looks like he got off the gas, checked up because he didn't want to run into him.
Looks like Thomas Keene has also caught Butch Frazier as well.
$23 laps to go. I think if these guys are still out here, I think they're going to the end. I think if they thought that they needed to come in and pit, they would have by now. I think these guys are going to try to race it to the end here on these tires.
I hope so. I hope they're committed. I'd like to see some cars run out of gas.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, this could really shake up the point standings, that's for sure.
David is still looking for his first win, I believe, correct?
Yes, he is. And he's got his teammate behind him.
Yeah, that's probably the best scenario right now for him. His teammate's got a bunch of wins, so he doesn't need to kind of push the issue. He's kind of just going to hold back the 7 and the 15 car. Really looking good for David.
Yeah, but he's
I
got
don't
Thomas
think Team
Keene
Well's going
coming.
to let that happen, though.
No, I don't think so either.
And Thomas Keene is going to get in this mix here real quick.
Yeah, but he's still got a lap to make up.
He does, but I think it's going to just get interesting when he gets around him. You got 4 cars right in front of Thomas Keene that he needs to deal with, and none of these guys are just... Well, they might move over and let him go, but...
Things are getting interesting here as these guys are approaching it. They're taking different lines into the corner. 929 does get by the 15. And he's going to go underneath the 7 here.
Now he's on the tail end of the lead lap, so... Ooh, puts it in the wall, getting around Brian Wynn there.
Leaders are going to have to deal with Wynn as well. Wynn's going to hold that high line.
Yeah, Thomas Keane, he's got nobody around him. Still trying to come up from 10th position. Last lap he ran a 24.3, and this lap he just ran a 24.325. So he's definitely on the move.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to go all the way around the track. If these guys don't really, like, they are going to continue to drop off, but I think he's using up his tires now. So I don't think he's going to make up an entire lap in 14 laps here, unless something happens. 7 car is still really trying to get around the 919. The 919 is doing a good job of keeping his car real wide there. It's going to be tough to get around him.
Yeah, they're all definitely committed now, unless they give a caution flag. And I don't know, I still think they're kind of committed. And Nelson's definitely looking for a hole.
Yeah, we're going to ride on board with the 7 here and see. Now, put us in his shoes here. It's going to get frustrating with that car in front of him. He's got 12 laps to go. I think at some point he's going to use a bumper here.
This late in the game, yeah, you almost got to, especially if you're faster than they are.
Yeah, especially when you can get to the bumper. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's getting in there on the exit of the corner and even in the entry. I think if he just burns it a little bit, he can get in there, just tap the 919, maybe send him up the track and go around on the inside.
Yeah, he doesn't have to wreck him. He just got to rattle his cage a little.
Yeah, you won't get out of the way. I can move you. As long as you can move him without, throwing him in the wall. Actually, it looks like he might have a chance as he's falling back a little bit. It might not be as easy as we think it will be here.
Yeah, he might have pushed it a little bit much the last 3 laps trying to get around, burn up that right front a little more than he wanted.
Yeah, I think we got to say that again. All these guys are on bald-ass tires with 10 laps to go here.
I don't think bald even covers it at this point.
Yeah. Those beads are throwing, and I don't think I've seen a tire blow very often, but it can definitely happen. John Fershing is he's just watching this unfold. I think he could capitalize too here if he plays his cards right. But I think David Howard is definitely sitting pretty.
He is for sure.
Nelson thinks he looks like he was thinking about it.
Definitely getting closer and closer.
Ooh, both the 919 and 7 put it on the apron there.
Oh, I'm sure them tires are barely even touching that track at the moment. I think they're down to the cords by now.
919's getting way up on that track.
Yeah, he's really pushing that entry in there and letting it drift.
Oh, the 515 or the 15 gets loose. Does keep it on the track though.
It's like the
Look at this
94 must
runoff.
have new tires.
Yeah, I would agree. Oh, it's going to get interesting here.
17 out of
970's
field?
pitting. He's not out of fuel. It's still running, but I guess he can't get there. Oh, it's going to come down to it if they're running out of gas. Sean Butler right now in the lead. Nelson Rivera second place. John Fershing Jr. in third. Are any of these guys saving gas? I don't think I come down with 5 to go, man. I think I push it.
You got to start floating it into the corner. Or
Just
you should have
yeah,
done that about 20 laps ago.
for sure. If you didn't think you could get there. Just really easy on the brakes. You want to kind of coast it into the corner. Really easy on the throttle on exit. Kind of really, really stretch that gas. Let's ride on board with the 7 car. See if we can hear. Oh, he's not even into the gas fully on the straightaway. Oh,
Yeah,
that's a really challenging position to be in. Second place, saving gas, seeing the leader right there. You just want to kind of get in on it, right? You just want to use that gas up to get around him. But you know if you do that, you might run out. 2 laps to go. I think we got to do it here.
Oh yeah, you got to push. You got to push it at this point.
Yeah, I don't think
You're
I'm
gonna run
saving
out of fuel,
anymore.
you're gonna run
Let's
out of
go.
fuel.
Right, exactly.
Sean has nothing to lose, so
white flag is out.
Are they going to make it? Do they have enough gas to get around? Short track here. Shouldn't take much. But if you even blip on exit, these cars are so close that they'll be able to drive around you before that start finish. He's going down! He's going
Sean's
down!
Out of fuel. He's out of fuel. He is coasting right now. Sean Butler coasting.
The 7 takes it!
Sean had to push it. I can't blame him. He had nothing to lose by doing it.
Well, my screen's just screwed up here. But, let's bring up the finishing results.
Sean Butler still secures that second place, not by much over John Frisching Jr., but showing Nelson Rivera as our race winner, Sean Butler second, John Frisching Jr. in third.
What an interesting finish to a really good race after those cautions.
That was pretty awesome. The drama ensues on fuel mileage.
Yeah, I love seeing it come into play, man. Let's bring down Nelson for his first race win of the season. Nelson,
thanks, guys.
Nelson, man, what a great race. Able to just conserve enough gas, have the 99 team run out in front of you to take the win, man. Tell us about that last green flag run.
Man, I was so focused, I didn't even know where I was running. I knew I was in the top 5 for most of that final run, and I just wanted to stay close to Sean and David there, because you know, just in case, like in this case, just in case something happens, I put myself in a position. I knew we were going to be close on fuel. When I was behind those guys, I try to use as little brake as possible. And just coasted in there because we were going to be close, and that was the winning move that turned out to be the winning move.
Yeah, it was definitely crazy watching you guys get around this track. I mean, it was, you know, we were kind of surprised to see David Howard Jr. come in, you know, and you guys were all running some pretty consistent laps there. Especially after Thomas Keene was out there running with a 5-second lead on you guys. But, you know, can you speak to, you know, your thoughts kind of at the beginning of the race, though? Because we had a lot of cautions and we had a lot of incidents going on. And were you just trying to keep the car clean and get up to the front and stay up there? Or what was the thought?
Yeah, that was the plan. It's just to keep it clean. I have a habit of using my resets, you know, by mistake, prematurely. So, you know, and then of course, you know how it goes. You use up your reset and then something happens. So I was just trying to focus on saving that reset, keeping the car clean, because I figured I was going to probably need that reset, and I never really needed it. I did brush the wall one time in those closing laps, but it wasn't enough to affect the car. But just keeping it clean. For the most part, it was a clean race. I thought, you know, there was a moment there where we had a bunch of yellows, but it was tough out there. It was very slick. It was incredibly hard to pass. You almost had to dive bomb just to set up a pass, which, you know, obviously is not a good method of passing, but it was just impossible to pass. So the only way I was going to beat Sean and David were if they made a mistake, which they didn't, or if they ran out of gas, which they did.
Well, man, again, congratulations. A win's a win. You're locked into the chase. Doesn't matter if you do it on fuel or what. They're all equal the same. Great racing, great strategy. Congratulations on the win. And we got a week off, but then we're going to Charlotte, man. You looking forward to that race?
Yeah, sure. You know, Charlotte's always fun. Not sure what to expect. It's been a while since I raced in Charlotte. You know, it just hit me now. This is my first NAVSCAR Pro Series win. So I'm excited about that. I'm in the chase officially now. So yeah, we're looking forward. Hopefully, maybe the momentum could carry over into next week. I could go on a little run here.
Sounds good, man. We wish you all the best, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, Nelson,
Yeah.
see that new paint scheme. Talk about that paint scheme you've got on there tonight.
Yeah, the autism awareness paint scheme. The real race is the AAA 400. Supporting autism. So I figured I'd take, the opportunity this week, since we are going to Dover, and Dover's been a big supporter of Autism Speaks, to make a special paint scheme for the cause. I have someone in the family that's suffering of autism, and there's many, obviously millions of people suffer from that. So just bringing the awareness out there. Just a little different scheme this weekend.
That's awesome, brother. We appreciate it. It's always good to have something like that that means something to somebody, even though we're just playing a simulation. But there's real life things that happen that nobody really has any control on. And
Absolutely.
to bring it out and bring the awareness out. That's pretty awesome. But congrats on the win.
You definitely gave it some TV time here tonight. So again, congrats.
That's awesome. Thanks, guys.
Sean, second place, man. It looked like your team was set up to finish 1-2, but it wasn't meant to be. You got to be at least happy with that second place finish.
Oh yeah, we were looking pretty good there. IFM 1-2 would have been pretty awesome, but David was telling me he was gonna be a little short, but I just couldn't get by him. He said he was pedaling it, but damn if I could get by him. And then Nelson was running all over me, and I was never saving fuel, and I knew I was going to be close. That's just one of those nice things about having, some wins. You don't have to really worry about it. You can kind of take the chances and kind of roll the dice there. And I thought I was going to run out coming off of 4, not off of 2. Man, it ran out as soon as I come off 2, and just didn't have enough momentum. And there goes Nelson.
Well, you had one of those nights where you were a little bit all over the track. I mean, you were up front, you were in the traffic. You weren't ever really in the back, but you did have some moments that maybe stood the hair up on the back of your neck. As we seen a couple times the car get loose get a little bit on the outside or around some other cars. I mean, was it a handful tonight, or was it just Dover?
Yeah, it's Dover, man. It kind of jumps out and grabs you every now and then. I started on the outside on that last restart and just fell way behind. And by the time I'd worked myself up in the second, I was kind of driving it a little bit too hard, and just kind of product of my own doing there. But it was a great run all night. We had some long green runs there a couple times there, and man, it was fun. I just love this place because with the tires wear out, and it's just so hard to keep consistent. And you never know, you could be running third, next thing you know you're winning the race. You just never know what's going to happen because people hit the wall here all the time.
Raymond, you got anything?
No, congrats on the second place there, Sean. I know it was tough. I did a little practicing, and yeah, we were talking before the race. It's just a flat, tough track to get around.
Oh yeah, for sure. Congrats to Nelson on his win there. Drove a heck of a race all night, and to be there at the end, that's what he had to do. And I'm not sure if he was saving earlier. Like I said, I was never saving, so I was just kind of shocked he didn't run out too. But that's awesome that come down to a fuel mileage, and we haven't seen that much here in this series because of fortunately with some of these cautions, but like I said, some long green flags here at Dover, which is really hard to do anyways, and so that was a lot of fun.
Well, we're excited to see your race in a couple weeks at Charlotte, and again, congratulations on the second place.
Yes, thank you. Looking forward to what season end. Well, how are we doing? Coming to the season end, so it'll be interesting to see how everything works out with the new rules and everything. We'll see what happens. Yes, sir. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Yep, you too.
Third place finisher, I believe, would be John Fershing,
It's
correct?
John.
All right, let's bring him down. John, buddy, third place finish. Congratulations. Hey, man, I think you were hoping for a couple other drivers to run out of gas, but you were able to take third place.
Yeah, it was fun-filled and exciting.
You don't sound so enthused.
No. I had a couple things I'm a little bummed about, but I mean, I can't be upset with third place. It turned out all right, so I guess I got to be happy for that.
Yeah, you had to be a little bit worried there, John. I mean, it was one of those things we know you had to take the quick repair on the car after you were involved in that incident, and I mean, it definitely put you back a little bit in traffic. Not too bad, but you were able to recover nicely from it, obviously.
Yeah, I have no idea how I was able to do that. This is definitely not one of my better tracks, and the fact that I had tires left at the end and those guys didn't, and I ran down that group up front, it was I'm super pumped about it. I can't believe I was able to do it, and they were all talking, after the race before you pulled me down here to the booth. They were talking about saving fuel, and I was never even saving. My lift point must have been far enough back where it gave me enough. I was always 0.7 to the good. I never even had to try to save, and that's probably what happened earlier when I got when I got hit and turned around and had to use the quick repair, just because I'm lifting earlier than some other guys. But like I said, it's all good. It's racing. Everybody talked it out. We're good, and I can't believe I got third. So great.
You looking forward to Charlotte?
Yeah, I am looking forward to Charlotte. Everybody, watches NASCAR, always talks about all these cookie cutter tracks, and there's too many 1.5 miles, and I don't know. We're pretty deep into the season here, and we haven't run on too many yet, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see a couple of some quick tracks. Charlotte's coming up. Michigan will be up twice in the next round. So it's going to be interesting for sure. Guys are going to get used to them over the next couple weeks.
Yep, those are tracks that I really like. Doesn't always mean a good finish. I love Auto Club, but that qualifying effort put me back in traffic, and I had some bad luck there. But so it's and then here's a track that I don't really care for, and I got a good finish. So just gonna show up and practice and do what we can do. Definitely looking forward to some of the rules changes after Charlotte for round 2, and it's gonna be good going forward.
Well, congratulations again on third place, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys. Can't wait to watch the broadcast.
Oh, it's fun.
It's a good one, man. It's a good one. I want to just speak to all of our viewers again. Thanks again for sticking it out to the end. Love having you on board, and hopefully you enjoyed the race here tonight. Jamie, Raymond, man, good to have you guys in the booth. Raymond, your first time in the booth. Hopefully we see you up here again.
Oh, we'll see what's going on. Second season comes around.
Yeah, you're gonna have your
we'll see what
hands full
happens.
with adminning these races, so we'll get you in here once in a while, maybe for the ends of the race with your comments. But Jamie, again, a great job tonight, and I think we're gonna sign it off. For Jamie Christensen, Raymond Edge, Dustin Phillips, I'm Mike Fair. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks at Charlotte.